All right, let's see if we can add a few more things here in the back. I think we're going to need some different reference images here. So let me grab this. I'm going to go to Image Open, and I think there's a back view here of this that's pretty good. I think we can use this. And well, I guess I just opened over the one that was also pretty good, didn't I? Let me just open that again. So these two, I think, will help us out quite a bit. This, let's see how this one looks. Well, that might help a little, maybe not. All right, let's see what we can do. First of all, let's go to the back view and go to wireframe here. And then let's work on this piece here. It looks like it's very oddly shaped, but that's okay in that we can use our trick to begin with a polygon plane, get it in the odd shape that we need it to be, and then use the solidify modifier. So there's this strange kind of curve in indentation here, but it really isn't. It's just that this part is angling out. You can see that up here. It's angling out here, and that's where the mud flaps connect to. So we don't really need to worry about this strange curved piece because I think it's just an optical illusion. If we look at it from here, you can see that this is it here. So what let's do first of all is go ahead and bring in a polygon plane. The 3D cursor is up here. We could actually move it to where we want it to be by clicking here on the cursor button and then coming over here and just clicking somewhere in here. There we go. So now if we press Shift A and create a mesh plane, there's our plane there. Now we need to turn it and of course move it back. But if we turn it, we want that top part to be facing out. We don't want to deal with the back side of a polygon. So what I'm going to do is press RX and hold the Control key down, and I'm going to move it. You can see in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, I'm moving it towards negative 90 degrees right there. And then I'll click. So there we have it rotated. Now what I'm going to do is just drag it back here and kind of put it in place there. So let's go back to the back view. I'll scale this down and I'll go back to wireframe here. Okay, so now what we can do is scale it down and put it right in here. So it's about the same size as this part right in there. Now, it's kind of hard to see with everything else here. So what we should do is maybe hide everything. Let me tumble around here and let's go back to our solid view just to take care of this. What I want to do is let's change this back to an outliner so we can see what we're doing. And currently we have two scene collections and then some objects here kind of outside of those two. So the vehicle main has all of these. The reference images has actually quite a lot of the geometry as well. And of course it has the top view, the side view, the front view, etc. So what we need to do is get all of these objects up into the vehicle main, keep the reference images where they are, and then I'll be able to hide the vehicle main scene collection and we'll just have this one object here that we're currently working on. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. We can of course go into here and choose a few of these objects and just click and drag them right into the vehicle main group. That'll work. We can also grab some of these here, and if we're just in the 3D view here, or we have the outliner closed, we can also, with object selected, we can right-click and choose Move to Collection. We can also use the shortcut key M. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's hit M, and we can move to collection, vehicle main, or reference images. We have a list here of all our scene collections. So I'll click vehicle main, and that moves them up into there. So now we have our reference images here, our objects in here. We could also select these other pieces down into here, like this, and just click and drag them up into that vehicle main scene collection as well. Now, here's that object. Oh, no, it isn't. This is the object. So look at what I've done here. I've actually taken this object and moved it up into the vehicle main when I wanted it to be down here. This object here are the doors, so I'm just going to move that up there like that. So how do I find this in all this clutter? One way to do that is kind of like in the 3D view where you can hit the period key. I'm going to come up here, hover over the scene collection, and press the period key on the numpad. And that will open up the scene collection and highlight the one that I want. So what I want to do is put this back up in the main heading scene collection so it's outside of the vehicle main. What I can do is come back and right-click here, say Move to Collection, and choose that Scene Collection at the top. And there we go. So now we've got everything in their proper scene collections and this one new object outside of it. So that now allows me the ability to hide everything except the object I'm working on. So it kind of goes without saying that it's good to keep the outliner fairly organized and cleaned up so you can do these kind of things. You can hide away groups of objects while you work on a new one. All right, so I'm going to go back to the back view here, go to wireframe again, and let's work on this. So if I tab into edit mode and go to edge mode, I can slide this over to maybe right about here. And maybe I can take this out just a little bit further there. And then what I'd like to do is press Control R and add an edge loop here, and then take this edge and hit E and Z and drag it straight up. Maybe all the way up to here, because you can see it up here coming out from underneath that piece that we've already created. So then what let's do is let's add an edge loop right here, and then select this edge, and let's extrude this over here. So I'll hit E and X and drag over to here. And then right about here, it kind of looks like it then angles down. So let's hit E and X again and pull out to here. And then I'm just going to hit S and scale in a bit like this. Something like that. There we go. Now for this, I could insert an edge loop right here and take this edge and extrude it down in the Z and then scale in like that. There we go. So let's take a look at what we have now. So that's what we have so far. What we need to do is cut these holes in here. And we could, of course, go through and use the Boolean modifier again, but I think I'm just going to add a few edge loops and do the trick with that. So let's just add an edge loop here, add an edge loop here. We'll also add one right here. And then I think I'll add one right about here. And then there's this angled part right there. So what I want to do is just use the knife tool to cut that in right there. So I'll press K, click right here on this edge, and then bring it right up here and click there. And then I'll hit enter. And there we go. So now the last thing we need is one more edge right here, right? There we go. So let's go to wireframe, or excuse me, face mode. And I'll just select these faces here. There they are. And hit X and delete faces. There we go. So there's that basic shape. Let's go ahead and put it in place now. I'll bring the rest of the objects back. And let's just pull it back. Look at the side view here. And maybe put it right about here. Now what we can do is maybe bend this right here. So how would we do that? Well, I think let's take a look if this edge is right where we need it to be. I'll press Alt click. There we go. Now let's go to that side view, and it looks like it's right there, kind of where we need it to be. So what we could do is just take this edge right here and just pull it forward like this. Let's try this. And I think that's what we're getting right there. Now let's go ahead and add a solidify modifier, but before we do, let's go ahead and press Control A and apply the scale. And then let's go over to the modifiers panel, add modifier, solidify, and there we go. That's not bad. Let's take a look at how we're doing here. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I think I may want it to be just a little bit thicker. I'm going to click on even thickness and click in the thickness field like that. There we go. Then there's this little piece right here. Let me open this up. You can see it right here. It goes down where the mud flap actually attaches to it. So let's go ahead and create that. Now, since the thickness here is the solidify modifier, we can't just choose a face here because really it doesn't exist. So what let's do is just select that edge and hit E and Z and pull down. Well, let's go all the way down to about right here. Let's see how that works. Is that too much? Yeah, that may be too much, huh? I'll select that edge again and pull it back up like this. There we go. What let's do now is quickly just mirror it over. Let's move our cursor into the center of the grid with Shift S1. Then we'll take that origin of the object and move it to the 3D cursor. And then we'll go ahead and come over here and add a mirror modifier. And there it is over there. All right. So in the next video, we'll work on a few more of these details back here.